Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich Russia. Let us continue on for the last left off. So, we have declared ourselves to be the Russian state. Central Asia is a mess. Hungary's still alive though. We got that going for us. And for our troops will be sent to America. We've taken Phoenix. Let's see if we can just like kind of get these troops out of here. Because I want to try to push against American Union State. I think they are our biggest threat. Again, primarily because they can join the Reichspakt, which I don't want them to do. But at the same time, of course, I don't want the CSA to win, because I don't really want a strong international. I want an international that's not going to die immediately, which is why we're backing them in Spain. But we would not back them in the United States, for example. A CSA would just be too powerful. Of course, you know, the CSA, theoretically, can be neutral as well. And just focus on stuff in a new world. But I can't really rely on that at all. We do need more guns. We need more guns because we need to try to eradicate anti-Russian resistance, which is like, really important that we get that done. That also requires us to complete the focus Rostovia, which is it's you. Okay, so we need to actually get you done as well in order to kind of get rid of those partisans. Now Budapest is still here. And the fall of Smedrichi. Definitely I say that. When the city was pacified in the days following Civil War, Alash militias under the command of native General Sadek Amezhlov firmly planted themselves in the region, integrating with the Smerichi Cossack hosts and the native tribal leaders. One began cracking down against the Amzlov and his Cossack separatists. They largely retreated into this region, unthroning our Cossack guards with the support of their old contacts, and pushing Anton Alexander Ivanov to retreat north to recollect his forces, losing most of his arsenal and heavy weaponry. With the snake Mustafa Slosky's Turkestan National Army forces marching to meet the Kazakh secessionists in the east, the true traitors have declared a new Cossack republic in the land surrounding Verny. We do not have units on hand required to crush this revolt. Give militias to crush the Alash autonomy, and the opportunity to rapidly organize and march to join Amzlov and his allies in the land of the Seven Rivers. Whether our Alash allies completely unable to get a grip on their commanders, it appears that the only thing these vagabonds will respond to is the end of a barrel. Kazakhstan now exists. Hello, Kazakhstan. Not really what I wanted to see, I'll be honest with you. And I guess you guys can just go on the border here. That should be okay. So, can I do one of you guys now? Still no. Bukhara exists as our subject. Turkestan Republic does not exist. Turkestan Republic does not exist. So I'm guessing, I guess we do one of these after the war's over, which actually doesn't make sense. Fifth columnist. I mean, we need to get down to you, but I also need more guns. We're at negative 5,000. And even that's for reinforcements as well. Not good. I mean, we are losing some troops in various places. Kiva joined the Pishket Pact. And that, okay, that's a new faction here. So you guys have all united against Bukhara, who is again our ally. It's not great. Again, Budapest is still kicking. The Cossack rebellion has spread. Sadek, obvious ally Amzlov, hiding in the mountains of Smerichi, has managed to humiliate our military and inspire insurrection spirit across the Alash autonomy. Native rebels successfully rose up against our garrisons across the region, outmaneuvering our scattered policing forces and the meager Alash loyalists to seize critical regions. Amzlov has rapidly gained fame as a great leader of the Cossack national uprising, and his rise to stardom has given the militias and bandits a central figure to rally behind, invigorating our forces and catching us largely off guard. While Amikhan Yermakov and his allies have remained loyal to us, he has lost the faith of the Alash people, and his grip on most of the autonomy has slipped away. As fewer and fewer Kazakhs recognize his government, the rival government of Mishkiev Dolatia has instead pledged itself to Amzlov's revolt, giving the rebels a dangerous degree of legitimacy and leading to a mass defections across the country. See, now, this is less great. This is, I'm actually gonna, can I? No, I had the wrong army selected because I'm bad. Put you guys here, please. And then the purple army, you need to delete your orders because I need you along the entire border of Kazakhstan. Thank you very much. I'm gonna do a quick save, mostly just for my thumbnails later. No templates for total anti-air. Again, I just want them. I mean, we'll find use for them later for sure. Efficiency gain sounds great. I know resistance occupation is extremely high. Now, we do have some things we can do. Okay. German influence, remove rights of resources in North Sakhalin. I mean, we've got more stability, so we'll take you next. 90 days until you're ready to go. Landauer support. Air volunteer cap +2. Can't do any of these quite yet. And again, we can't get Georgia on side until at least the Egyptians and the Ottomans have their war, and that still is a ways away. I think end of next year, maybe. I'm trying to remember. Again, it has been a little while actually since we have played Kaiserreich. Okay, Hungary's been annexed. We knew that was an inevitability, but again, they accomplished their goal of just causing as many casualties as humanly possible, which is what I was looking for. Our troops will be arriving soon. The bandits have banded together. When we marched against the disorganized armies of the backwards Fethi and clique in the CER crisis nearly a decade ago, our commanders promised the people of Russia our victory was assured and the Russian army would crush the rabble to the east. The memory of this past humiliation haunts every mind marching south. We have committed ourselves against the arrayed forces of Mehmed Uzbek's warlord, Republic of Turkestan. You know actually what I should do? Send them more units. Okay. Remember past humiliations, how to remind marching south, we committed ourselves against the arrayed forces of Madambek's warlord Republic of Turkestan. The traitorous riders of the snake, Junin Khan, and his grimy rebels in Sadik Amazov and Mustafa Shoke. These armies are hardly able to threaten the might of our modern army, but we must not forget that they are supported by the devils in Berlin and Istanbul, and that they have the advantage by their knowledge, by their desolate and uncivilized homelands. We will not make the same mistakes we have made in the Siberian waste. We will show these upstart brigands in the world at large the military might of Moscow is not to be trifled with. Okay, world tension goes up by 5. Declare war, Russian order in Turkestan. Okay, so one that's going to remove all of our rebel armies, or not our rebel, all our volunteer armies, which is fine, because again, CNT is going to win for sure. Pacific States is not as big as an issue. We already lost in Hungary, so that's not like a big deal. Every single plane we have should be going to support the Purple Army. Make sure they're on close air support if they can. You guys will be on strategic bombing. You guys will be on air superiority. All that sounds great. Fly over here. Now, Purple Army, you need an objective, and your objective should be marching your way down into Kazakhstan. Can I bomb you? Cannot raid. We do not have the bouncing bomb. And that's fine. Do we have any experimental bonuses? The answer is no. We haven't even built any of the experimental buildings. I mean, we really have just not had the time to do so. We could get like one. You know, let's put like one nuclear one in here. Air wings. You've not been assigned anything. I've told you to go support this army. Oh, you're naval bombers. Well, then don't worry about it. You'll be fine, okay? Italian Civil War has resumed. So let's see. Bukhara has joined our faction. How long do we have to actually win this war? 266 days. I'm assuming if we lose that, then it's going to be an embarrassment for us. Well, you don't want that to happen. Why can I not take any of you? For maximum logistics, we currently have deployed 0. Do we just not have an actual enough manpower? Oh, we don't have enough manpower. Well, if that's the case, let's see. You are 2 civilian factories. I mean, it's a lot of free civilian factories for sure. Popular anger goes up by 1. Honestly, popular anger is kind of fine right now. He's 100,000, which allows us to do like one of these. And you get half of it back. Or we just say we've done it. And we don't worry about the rest. Utilize the army. Military anger goes up by 1 as well. Ugh. It's kind of hard to say if I want to take you or not. I mean, if we take you, we gotta do 2 of them. And we just will not do the Magadan gold mining. Which I think's fine. Let's take the small hit. That'll be done in 60 days. And the loyalty cause. Can you believe that until now, there's been no checks on our civil servants' moral and ideological beliefs? It has been perfectly possible for an unpatriotic governor to appoint a well-known socialist as the chief of police, or a judge. And this has happening often, especially in larger socialist-dominated cities. Such criminality ends now. With the loyalty clause in our new civil service law, all civil officials and employees of public institutions, such as schools, must prove their loyalty to the motherland by joining the SZRS and abiding by its rules. Any person who's not a member of the SZRS is ineligible for these positions. There are plans to extend a lot of priests and military officers, but for now these groups are expected to self-moderate. As expected, there's been a massive surge in new SZRS members, and some amount of protest resignations. Obviously, unpatriotic officials such as those with ties to communist organizations are barred from joining the SZRS. De facto meaning termination of their employment and generally starting a police investigation to see if they pose any danger to the public. Okay, so we can either 5% more popularity, make sure there's some exceptions for the best. Let's go 5% more. We'll take disability and a little bit more party popularity. We are at negative 17% because we're at war, which is like not great, obviously. We can move you here, move you towards the supply hub. Thank you very much. And we need to take this supply hub as quickly as possibly can. That actually is a major military objective for ourselves. We need this. If we're going to push any further into Kazakhstan, we need that like yesterday. Unfortunately, there's also like no airfields around here, which is like not great by any means. Is there any other armies we want to push here? How about our troops in Georgia? If Georgia is going to be an ally of ours, let's actually move them here. And their job is to push away into Khiva. Like, it's going to be messy for sure. But that's kind of okay. Yeah, so CNT is going to win their war. Who do we... Okay, I mean, we're in an interesting spot, right? Two Sicilies is national populist. The old order... Trade union status quo. I know if the national populace win in the Republic, they can join our faction, but unfortunately they didn't. So I honestly don't think we care too much about the Italian war at all. Like, it's just not a high priority of ours. Okay, let's go take this supply hub as well. Thank you very much. Okay, so we've taken this one. We want to push our way down the railroads. Very important for our operation. And the fate of the veterans organizations. After the Civil War, many organizations appeared to protect the legacy of the brave soldiers who defeated the Red Menace. The Union of Volunteer, Adexviets, and the Association of Siberian Riflemen, the Czechoslovak Veterans Union, the Kazakh Organization, the Green Union, many others were largely organized around specific Civil War-era armies. Almost all of these are now supportive towards the SZRS, but the Green Union has especially loyal to the cause. Its longtime leader is Alexander Stepanovich Antonov, the famous Vods of the Tambov peasants and a close ally of Soviet in the region. What started as a veteran organization for various peasant partisans that rose up against the Bolshevik menace has eventually become the second largest veteran union and a recruitment base for the Sovniks. In our program to take full control of Russian life, we have two options. Either all these organizations are disbanded and merged into a single new organization under the SZRS, or we utilize the Green Union as a foundational block and require other organizations to join it. Either way, the outcome is a single veteran organization under the political control of the party. Okay. Entirely new organization. As you know, we'll merge them into the Green Union. I think that seems fairly okay. We need to capture this rail here. Volunteer forces have arrived from Hungary. We'll station them onto the Ukrainian border. I think that seems okay. You guys will attack, and I also want you to be very, very aggressive when you actually get there. I know, obviously, Kazakhstan is going to be moving a lot of troops in this more barren environment, to say the least. Where are you guys? You're the Belarusian army. We'll do something like this, I think seems fair enough. so you're going to go take this, and you're going to move your way down towards Khiva. If we need to shrink Purple Line, we will. It's not a huge issue. Ricardo's capitulated, but again, we knew that was going to happen. Should not be a surprise to literally anybody. I'm not too worried about Kazakhstan. Like, I mean, this area over here is, like, not great, but the rest of it should be pretty easy to kind of come under our control. But are you connected yet? No. But you will be in 3 more days. Now the railroad here is connected as well. Under political power. 248 days left on you. The port people, again, I can't afford to do that. Reform the Cossack host. I would like to do that. Port the military. Don't have to worry about any of you. Okay, so let's reform the Cossack host as well. And the federal structure of Russia. The Federal Republic of Russia has various self-governing areas. Most importantly, the Alash, and the Caucasus region. And its 10 Cossack hosts. In addition, gubernarias also have their own self-autonomy and regional dumas. And once classified as cultural minority gubernarias have even elected their own commissar, instead of having Moscow-appointed governor. The whole system is a series of compromises. Though not entirely disagreeable with the SRS program, after all, we do stress freedom of the peasantry and of the common people. And have also drawn support from national minorities. Still, the system is bothersome, especially as the local democracy of the large cities has kept them in the hands of our political enemies. The options on the table are threefold. Either we can keep the system as it is, but simply ensure the SRS or their local supporter parties run in every regional duma in the country through intimidation, suppression, and propaganda. This would be especially true in much of the countryside. Alternatively, we could add an additional layer of control over this autonomy, in the form of absolute presidential oversight. All laws passed by the regional dumas could be repealed by the president at will, making sure that if political questionable forces rise into power, they do no lasting damage. This is the solution Avods himself personally prefers. The third option is to start eroding the entire system by gradually restricting the powers of the regional dumas and autonomies until they serve as mere paper stamps and bureaucratic centers. This would be unpopular, even among some of our base, but it would ultimately result in a more centralized system. Negative 40 political power, public anger goes up by 1, centralizing the system. 200 political power. That's a lot. I mean, it's going to take a year, and that's a lot of loss of stability. So let's just local autonomy with absolute presidential veto. We'll give the Vods what he wants. The Cossack privileges and their host. The Russian Cossacks roam the southern and eastern extremes of Russia, descending from military settlers in the steppe region. Unique in culture and undoubtedly Russian. Their hosts were given official autonomous status by the 1922 Constitution as a reward for their heroic efforts in the Civil War. Even though the Cossacks do not form ethnic majorities everywhere else outside of their own Stasia villages, they generally own most of the land of the host, and through political power and education access, form the most privileged class compared to the common Russian tenant farmer and city dweller. In exchange, the Cossacks serve in the army under their host Ataman, often being the first ones sent in to quell a regional unrest, be it in the North Caucasus, Turkestan, or general civil unrest. In practice, the Cossacks are our enemy. They are great landowners, enjoying unjustified privileges over the common Russian peasants living on host lands. Yes, we honor Cossacks for their military ability, but is this not the duty of every patriotic Russian? A man should not be rewarded for merely doing what is expected of everybody. And thus, many in the party wish to greatly reduce the Cossack autonomies, and naturally redistribute the land on their loyal Russian peasantry, just as able and patriotic as the Cossacks. No change is 5% stability, negative 5% if we abolish them. Be the forefront of the army, unit templates, logistics skill. I mean, the stability would be nice. Give me the stability. We're not going to change the system right now. Fine. Is giving them the compensation what's keeping us at very high? I'm not too sure. To be quite honest with you. Preemptive war, Chinese gamble. Fifth columnist. No, we gotta get our way down to you. How many guns? I mean, we're gonna start losing guns as well because we're gonna start because we're actually fighting in a war. It's gonna make our numbers significantly worse than they would have otherwise been. Purple line, I think you can shrink to not cover this like green front. Yeah, so you're gonna keep on pushing here. Excellent, excellent. You're at 49. Spain has capitulated. We're very, very happy to see that one. And you guys need to start moving your way down south, okay? You're going to actually just join this army because it's easier for me. Keep on moving down the rail lines. Because we have you connected now. You'll be connected in 6 days. Merchant Spanish Civil War is over. You're going to hold your position. Do not be fighting on multiple fronts. Syria's declared independence. And, ooh, they have a new flag. I like this purple. I like this purple they got going on here. Okay, we have 2 research slots open as well. So let's go for... It's almost 38. You're all 39 techs. Go research B plus 5%. And following that, basic fortifications, nuclear weapons, I don't think make any sense. You're 39. Heavy tanks. I think we'll probably just... we'll go for... Let's get the medium tanks going here as well. That should be okay. Again, I want you moving your way down south. All of you deploy as quickly as you possibly can. I want you over here to make sure this guy doesn't actually get killed off. Thank you very much. Memoirs of a Terrorist Part 2. Boris Vitrovic has spent a decade before the February Revolution in exile in Paris, writing and seething. During this time, he met Dmitry Merzakovsky and Zenata Gupius, whose religious ideas would influence Savinkov further into apocalyptic terrorism. After Tsarism was toppled in Russia, he returned to Russia, and, with his political connections, quickly rose in the war ministry and into General Kornilov's trust. This made him part of Kornilov's power grab, and subsequently, Savinkov was expelled from the PSR, not that he believed in their cause for years. He fled to the Don, where he was present at the foundation of the Volunteer Army. General Alexeyev sent him to Moscow to organize resistance. The first SRS was founded there in the Central Organization for Anti-Bolshevik Terrorist Activities. Those from this period would become the old core of the SRS. Men like Dikov, Klepnikov, Gopur, and Vidikovsky. Uprisings were launched, but only one succeeded, the legendary Ribrizk Rebellion. The whites in northern Russia rallied behind the SRS's success, and the Northern Volunteer Army was formed with Karl Gopur as its military leader, and Boris Savinkov as its political head. An overall commander of the Northern Oblast under Yevgeny Miller. To avoid being crushed by superior Bolshevik numbers, the army, consisting largely of social revolutionary militias and volunteers, fled north, eventually linking up with the Entente troops of Archangelsk. For a year, they would fight in the spruce forests and swamps of the Russian north. Savinkov represented his army at the Second Ufa Conference and managed to even talk many of the SRs into supporting Kolchak temporarily, but he returned to the north already in November of 1919. The situation there had grown dire after the collapse and evacuation of the Entente forces, and under the tremendous pressure from Tovadenchi's northern front, the Northern Volunteer Army made a bitter decision to retreat, trekking through 500 kilometers of snowy forest, under constant fighting with the Reds. After 4 long, grueling months of the icy march, and 2 bloody years since the Ribizk Rebellion, they would reunite with the rest of the whites in the Volga, and hailed as heroes. How did you get all the way over here, my dude? Holy. You know what? Actually, we need to shrink this line. To just be here. And then we need to change your attack plan to be like this. Get to where you need to be, again, as quickly as you possibly can. Thank you. Delete this line because it's not actually a thing anymore. You're going to stay here. Actually, go to Supply Hub. You're going to try to break out of this small encirclement that we have kind of put here. Okay, you've been liberated. Syria's been annexed, not a surprise to anybody. And I would say with the war in Kazakhstan, this would be a good time for us to end this episode. So if you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not enjoying, thumbs down. If you want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.